for giving a wide opportunity for presenting my ideas today. A very good afternoon to one and all present here, especially the participants. And I request the participants to have your notebook and pen because this is a workshop. This is not like a regular presentation. So there are a few exercises and there are few things which you all need to work it out. So it will not be like one other time and stress management presentation where I'm going to talk about what is the definition of stress management, what is the definition of stress, and what is the definition of time, and how do you utilize the time. No. So it's completely a workshop. So I request the participants to sit with the notebook and a paper, pen or pencil. Okay. So what's the best way to manage your time without compromising your priorities? I want the participants to talk to me through the chat box. So without compromising your priorities, how well do you manage your time? Is there any possibilities? And although there are several schools of thought in this presentation or in this workshop, I would like to, uh, discuss with you where you can find a time management strategy to make the best effective use of time. We all talk about procrastination, prioritization, multitasking, and some other popular techniques to make the best use of time. But the bottom line of the IoT Academy at this point of time to share with you all is to make you understand that we all have only 24 hours. And the trick is to ensure that you have the time for the things that matter the most. Okay. So I will talk about the strategies and techniques in the later part. But to start with the presentation, I want you all to uh, listen to the exercises because there is something called as the reverse scoring. This exercises, two major exercises which I will be sharing for this presentation, has the reverse scoring. If you're giving 4, then it has to be converted to 0. If you're giving 3, so there are statements, few statements, and for those statements, you will be having the responses. So for the responses, when you're giving the scoring for certain items or statements, it is called as, you need to give the reverse scoring. So participants, ensure that you follow the presentation and let's move on to the presentation. Yeah. So we all know that working well with all the things like people don't have find time to do the exercise. Yes, have a nutritious food. Yes, because even for this 1 hour presentation, I had to work on almost, I think 7.5 hours of input has gone for preparing this presentation, and every presentation is new for me. Ma'am was talking about while introducing 23 years of experience. So it doesn't matter. Every presentation, when we take it as it is the first, then we are going to do our best. So this is what I believe in. Okay. So we don't get enough sleep. So making a list of to do things, all this, whether it is working out, not working out, no idea. And also we have certain myths about the time management. Time management is nothing but, a basic, very, very basic common sense. Say, for example, I do very well in the school. So I must be managing my time effectively. We are all professors and associate professors, assistant, senior assistant professors. So it takes all the fun out of life. That is what do you think? Oh my God, this I have not completed. Is just, pushing me to this. Time management, yeah, I work under pressure only. I can do something or the other, madam. Otherwise, I cannot work. Unless people give me the deadlines, I will never ever do. This is all your myth. So no matter what I do, I don't have enough time at all. If you have all these things, the thoughts, ideas, if you have, please remove it because this is all only myths. I will teach you certain strategies or I'll just discuss with you because I'm also one like you, where I have faced all these things coming up to this position. For the last 15 years, I worked as director, research director, academics for one of the, major colleges, pioneer colleges in Bengaluru. But the thing why I have joined here in this college as a professor is the same time management. So let me just talk about, a few things. So this cartoon says that I'd like to schedule a time management seminar on my calendar. So as soon as my, where I can find time to buy a calendar. You don't have time to buy a calendar. Then where will you schedule? Where will you schedule your time management seminar? And the truth about the time management is if we are able to manage this, it is going to increase our productivity. Definitely, it will reduce the stress level, because the second part of this presentation is all about the stress management. And of course, it will improve your self-esteem. I know a lady, one of my colleague right now, who's there with me with the two young children, runs around. She's the coordinator for many programs, and you all know that. See, our Scopus publication, our say for example, what goes for academic performance indicators for your performance appraisal. One is your Scopus publication, one is your UGC listed publication. Here we don't even consider that because I work for an engineering college. It is only the Scopus, and it is only Q1 and Q2. Q3 and Q4, it is nowhere in the picture. And it is our patent, because we have to file the patents through our college. And what are the other activities? Say, for example, I'm the FDP coordinator, and also I'm the MDP coordinator. We are the coordinators for so many programs. So when one task is over, the other task comes, and how do you manage all that? Sometimes parallelly it comes. Exam invigilation duty, valuation duty. There are so many things that so many roles also we do play. Okay, so if we are able to manage the time, it definitely helps to achieve a balance in life. It really increases our self confidence, which has improved a lot. The person whom I'm talking to you, she has improved a lot. She has improved her self confidence, the way how she dresses herself, her grooming, a lot, many things have improved. So this helps us to reach the goals. Moving on to the exercise one. So as I already told you, this is not a normal presentation. It's a workshop. So I want all of you to, heed ears to this concept which we are trying to understand, and then trying to, there are many self-help books. Apart from that, these kind of workshops will ensure that we put things into practice. So there are two cartoon strips which are given in the next page. I will show it to you, each featuring two people. In each picture, one person is saying something. I just want you all to guess what the other person would say in response, and write the response in the blank space. So this is the picture. I want you all to write the communication which is given by the other person. So the guy is telling, so they load you with so much work. So what would be the response of the other person? I'll give you 2 minutes to write the communication. The communication here is, load you with so much work. It could be an exclamatory mark. Here it is an exclamatory mark. It could be even a question mark. So they load you with so much work. It's a question mark. So it's up to your imagination. What would be the communication, the answer that you would be giving? So this is the first picture. I hope you have written. I hope you have written. Done? Yeah. Moving on to the next one. This is the next picture. It's too much that my boss and my subordinate have just the opposite expectations. Most of us, say, for example, if you're reporting to your directors, if you're reporting to the principals, if you're reporting to your HODs, they are the boss. And your subordinates would be, suppose if you're associate professor, maybe your senior assistant professor might be your subordinates. Your students, depends on how you coordinate a program. Say, for example, a management fest is coming, or a commerce fest is coming. So how do you coordinate that? You need to, coordinate a lot of activities in that. Trying to identify the speakers, arranging for a place. It's something similar to an event management. And you get the dates, the times, the confirmation from all the stakeholders, and ensure that it is matching with the date that you have fixed, and finally ensure that it is not declared as a holiday. Correct? So there are so many things which goes into this. So this person is telling that it is, yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. Ma'am, are you moving the slides, ma'am? It is not moving, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm moving the slides. It is in my state. is moving. I just shared within.
But we are
Okay,
not.
I'll share the. Yeah, okay, I'll share the entire screen. 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am.
I will share the entire screen rather than presenting a window. I was just presenting a window. I'm sharing the entire screen. I hope now it is visible.
Yes.
So, yeah. So this is the first picture. In this first picture, I want all of you to write the communication that would be given by the second person. The first person is telling that, so they load you with so much work. What would be the reaction or the communication about the second person? Just one or two lines is sufficient. We move on to the next one. The next one is, it's too much that my boss and my subordinate have just the opposite expectations from me. So this could be a worry of this man, this person, or this could be just a suggestion. I don't know what to do and how to do. Can you just suggest me? Whatever may be his expectations. So he just is communicating. It is really too much that my boss and my subordinate, they have just the opposite expectations from me. What would be the reaction of the other person? What is the communication? I just want you to post it in the chat box so that we can get on to the discussions. Okay. So I want to see the chat box. So in the chat box, yes, uh, I have these messages. They say that the first person, okay, in the first picture, they say that so they load you with so much of work. The other person says that yes, it is too much workload. What to do? I have a lot of things to go ahead, and probably inspection is coming. All the files needs to be done. So he goes on and on. So this is one of the communication which is expressed by this person. Whereas in the second picture, if you see, it is too much that my boss and my subordinate have just opposite expectations from me. When a person says, the other person says, yes, you have to manage, you have to do it, you don't have a go. So appraisals would come. So just ensure that you try to satisfy both your boss as well as your subordinates. It's your job to communicate and pass the communication. There is something called as a downward communication and upward communication. Have some tools and try to use it. So, well, whether this will be a good thing for managing the time. So that is the question which we are talking about. So in my sessions, it's a workshop. So I once again I request all the participants to sit with the notebook and pen. So here, as I have posted two pictures, I think it is very visible that we need to understand what could be the best communication that needs to be, there among the participants. This is the first level of stress. If somebody says, yes, yeah, you have too much of stress, I can understand. So that itself gets into our head and you feel a lot of stress. When somebody says, Array, this is just a small work, piece of work, first you finish that, which is important. Say tomorrow inspection is coming, so let's work for that and finish it off. So afterwards, we'll see, entering the marks and other things. So if things are spoken like that, then that is, going to reduce your stress. So just identify which is the first and which is the best. Okay, the next one. Okay, so this is one particular, idea of reducing your stress because there are only 168 hours in a week, and you need to know which is urgent, which is not urgent. Okay, and which is important and which is not important. So, I'm just showing you a matrix here. There is something called as which is urgent and which is most important. Just do it now. Do not bother about anything. Just do it now. And which is not urgent, but it is really important to do. Say, for example, the next week you're having the same. You might be invited for FDP, or you might be planning to go for say as a resource person elsewhere. Anything, any activity it could be. if it is for the students, you are planning to do something. So what do you do is, it is not urgent, but it is definitely important. In that particular case, you just plan to do. In the case, if it is not important and it is very urgent, sometimes in between, when you're doing some normal work, people come to you, rush to you and say, this is most important. I just want it to be done right now. And it is very, very urgent. Say, for example, yesterday I was just talking to, one of my colleague. Immediately, my boss came and said, this is very urgent. Somebody has applied for a job and I need to have an interview at that particular point of time, though I'm not informed. So this is all, I'm just giving small, small examples so that it is making these situations very clear. Okay. So it's very urgent. I need to attend that because the instruction is coming from my boss. But it is not important. Having an interview at that point of time, or if I don't even know the candidate, I've not got the resume of the candidate. So all these things are not important, but the urgent is I need to attend, take up the interview for the person who has come. So what do? I can either reject it. Okay, I do have a choice. I can reject it telling, ma'am, I don't know. I can't do it. No. Or, sir, this cannot be done. No. Trivial request from the others. Otherwise, I can ask others. And see, a lot of interruptions and distractions will be there like this, which either you can reject or accept. It is up to you. Okay. In this case, you can scrutinize and probe up all your demands. So that is what I wanted to suggest. And sometimes you say that in the next matrix, if you see in the column, it is not at all urgent and it is not at all important. But there is a task which is there, which needs to be done by you, and it is not urgent and it is not important. So what would you do? You always resist because you're in the comfort zone. So comfort your activities, probably you might be, wanting to play your computer games, or you want to surf the net. Now, I wanted to tell all the participants who are there in this group, ICSSR, portal is open for the research funding programs. All of you can start applying for that. Say, for example, this is one task which I do on every Saturdays. Every Saturday, I just open all the government portals and the funding portals to check for any of the portal is open. And before that, me from city and 50,000 from NABARD. So all these things happens only when you are alert, you do your regular duties. At the same time, you fix some time to ensure that you open the portals and apply for that. So simply studying for exams will not give us the results. How do you write the exam gives us the greater results. You should know you have only 3 hours. We have only 3 hours for the NPTL. We have only this much. So we are, expected to do some, things. So how do you, organize your time? So set the realistic goals. There are only 24 hours in a day, and use the spare you. And at the same time, we all need to ensure that we need to study at the same time. As I'm talking about the classes, and make it as a habit, a regular habit. Reading is all done. The gadgets have come into existence, but newspaper reading is a must for all the MBA professors, for all the professional courses, and for that matter, instead of reading items which is not relevant for us, let's get into certain things, buying papers like Financial Times, or so this will give us the understanding which is most priority for us to get through. So divide the study into manageable chunks, small portion, and leave extra time. So this particular presentation, this resource will help you to access. I'm going to give you 3 exercises, one whichever you have already done, another 2 more exercises to go. So here you can assess what you are, what is your personality, and what is your, what do you call that, personal effectiveness. How well you are able to be very receptive, and at the same time, how well you are able to achieve something, how you can proceed with something. That we will see in the next few slides. Okay, so this workshop will help you to assess what are the risks or what are the protective factors that are really existing here in and around us. And it will help you to plan what are the best options to minimize or eliminate your risk, and also to do what can be put in place. That is, your agreed plans. written down something. These are the things which I need to do, and to take action and to review the effectiveness. Okay. So this is what I do. The time management as well as the stress management concepts. And the stress in workplace, how it is happening, why workplaces should look at stress, and how work impacts stress and stress impacts work. It's the either way. And there are ways to reorganize the stress at work. It's the first portion of the presentation which I will be covering. And then the second half, I will be covering understanding the stress response. Recognizing the stress is a normal and healthy response. Okay, that pressure is coming. Tomorrow I have inspection. Tomorrow I have somebody to come. Auditing is going to happen. Yes, I do recognize the stress, but understanding the stress, how it works, and why it can be harmful. That also I need to understand. And introducing how to reduce the harm bad stress that can cause. And I will also give you these strategies and techniques how to reduce the impact of stress. Learning on how to refuel and resolve the stress and relax, that allows you to take action. Okay. So I want you all to start with exercise 2. Please pick up your notepads and pen, and I'm just reading it out for you. Each of us, I play the role of a wife, I play the role of a mother, I play the role of director for one of the institution. I also play the role of a professor here. And in the professor itself, I have a lot of sub roles. I'm the coordinator for various activities. For example, the consultancy projects which I need to get it for the college. And I'm the coordinator for the FDP faculty development program. Every month we are coming with programs. And MDP, that is once in 15 days, Management Development Program, is an industry connect program, which as an MBA department, we need to do it for the other, corporates. So unless and until we go as a trainer, why it's always every time the corporates we are inviting to give the guest lectures? Why can't we go as a, guest lecturer to the corporates and tell them, I'm just giving the training program on so and so? Why don't we identify our strengths as a department and go to various places? So this comes under your consultancy, because we are all going for MBA accreditation, NIRF accreditation, a lot of things which is coming up. Yes. So we are playing different roles, right? So you may have a work role in an organization, and you have some family roles also at home, because we are the son. I'm also a daughter. I play the role of a daughter. Okay. And my father is very proud that this daughter is much better than the, other daughters, whatever. Okay. So you may have roles in other system as a club, as a social work organization. And see, I'm the, member of the NIPM, National Institute of Personal Management, HRD, and various other, clubs as professional bodies, and also in the political party. So we, play different roles. So I just want you all to read the 3 statements, which is given below, and check how often you have the feelings that you have experienced this particular statement, which is expressed here. Just read these 3 statements. These are the keys. Kindly take down the keys. Write 0 if you never or scarcely feel this way. You can write 1 if you occasionally feel this way, and write 2, sometimes I feel this way. And write 3 if you frequently means often, every time you give 4. So this is the key to respond. So here are the statements. The first statement is, I am not able to do many things for which I have a greater liking. Right now, I also feel the same, because I am not manipulating your answers. So, because right now, because I'm an artist, I'm a classical dancer, I am a painter, I'm not able to do all that, because this professor job itself takes from morning 8 to evening 8. And also being a wife, being a mother, yes, we have many other tasks which is to be done. So I'm not able to do many things for which I have a greater liking. My passion is basically into training. I'm not able to do. So what should I do? Right? So if it is, it's almost more. So what I write 4, if you almost feel this way. Yes, I almost feel this way because I am not able to do many things for which I have a great liking. Some of you might feel that, no, madam, I am, belonging to type B personality, because we would have heard about type A and type B personality. Type A is always very conscious, looking to the time and want to do too many things at one point of time, or, in a day. Yes. So if you are, and those type A personalities have a lot of stress, but they are also, achievers in that type A personalities. So if you say that, no, no, I, always say, for example, I'm not able to do too many things. Yes, no, I do. Whatever I like, also I do along with my other profession. Yes, then in that case, occasionally I feel this way, then you write. So kindly listen to the keys. The keys is write 0 if you never or scarcely feel this way. Write 1 if it is occasionally. Write 2 if it is sometimes. And write 3 if it is very frequently you feel this way. And write 4 if you almost feel this way. So the first statement is, I'm not able to do too many things for which I have a greater liking. The second statement is, my role in the family conflicts with my work role. My role in the family. In the family, I'm playing the role of wife, daughter, as well as a mother. So my role in the family, yes, definitely conflicts with my work role. My daughter says, you're not giving much time to me. My son says, no, Amma, you're not giving much time. So, or the husband would say, these days you're not, attending the family meetings, you're not coming to parties. We don't know what could be the things, or maybe, you don't have sufficient time to do too many things, say in the cooking front. Yes, because that's a very interesting part. Uh, Coming out all these days where we have a lot of ready-made things which is available, and you can see the Saturdays and Sundays in Bengaluru, very interesting. The whole area will be outside in most of the restaurants, what we see. And I used to think, nobody cooks at home. I don't know. So this is the kind of the lifestyle, that is which is happening for the today. And
Excuse me, ma'am.
uh, ma'am, I'm listening. Problem.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Please tell me, ma'am.
Ma'am, your voice is breaking at times, ma'am. So that's what I wanted to meet you, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt.
No, no problem. It is connected properly. Wi-Fi is full, and at the same time, it is showing, yes, it is full. It is connected. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you now, ma'am. Sometimes it is
Mm.
breaking, ma'am. That's what I wanted to let you know. Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt, ma'am.
no problem. So these are the statements too. Now, moving on to the statement 3, I do not have enough knowledge or skills which I needed to do justice to my roles. Sometimes we get so not frustrated, probably a little low self-esteem, where we feel that I do not have enough knowledge or the skills I needed to justice for this particular role. I say, for example, the role of a director. When I was playing the role of a director a few years back, I felt so, a lot many times these meetings, I felt that, certain meetings are really unwanted. Let's put into action and let's just work on that. Why simply to have all the meetings, and it is a waste of time. Nobody is, having that kind of the brainstorming session. All the brains are drained out. And why do we have to conduct this at all? So let's just give the instructions, or, let's just put it into plan of action and let's work it out. So I used to feel like that. And at the same time, the knowledge and skills that we need to do, sometimes it, if you feel it is less. So I just want you to write the scoring for this. Write 1 if you occasionally feel this way. Yes, sometimes I feel, I don't have the sufficient knowledge. Sometimes if you feel it is very rarely, madam, and then it is 0. But always you feel, yes, madam, I'm not prepared for meeting. I'm not prepared for certain things. All of a sudden they had called me. Most of the time here, nothing is planned in this institution. I don't know, in this organization. So if you feel so, then please write 4. If you almost feel this way, because the third statement is, again, I'm repeating, if you feel like I do not have enough knowledge and skills, needed to that is needed to do justice to my roles. Okay, so this is one statement which is very important. Now let us look into the scoring. Okay, in the scoring, all the 3 statements shows that the first one, that is the self role distance. How many of you have given 4, or how many of you? These are the scorings, right? 0 if you have written 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So based on the scorings, the 3 statements shows that there is something called as a self role distance. And the second one, this item, which talks about my role in the family conflicts. This talks about inter-role distance. I will just explain. And the third one is on role inadequacy. So in the first one, say for example, you just have to multiply the scores. So there are 3 statements, correct? So 3 statements into whatever the scores that you have written. Say for example, 1 or 2 or 3. I have written for the statement, 1, 2. Okay. And for the second item, that is the second statement, I have given 3. So the third one I would have given 2. So I just multiply that and get the scoring. Okay, so these are the statements. Now if the scoring is above 6, okay, if the scoring is above 6, then it needs to be, we need to think through how best I can improvise on that. We need to prepare a plan where we need to cope up with the situation effectively. So this is a state of concern. How many of you have got a score which is above 6? Let me just have a look at it so that we can proceed with the other slides. So in the chat box, please post your, yeah. So how many of you? Some of you have got 1. Very good. So if he or she is enjoying, you would say, I'm enjoying it. Yes. In the first slide, the other person may say, yes, this is for the first exercise. Madam has given Shilpa Tate. So they are telling that, yes, they are targeting me by giving me a work. This is absolutely very negative. Okay, they are targeting me. Nobody is going to target you, madam, uh, because see, we all of us have come to work, right? So nobody is going to benefit out of anything by targeting at one particular person. So that is the meaning. You have given the, uh, situations and the comments. But anyway, with the second, what happens with the second exercise? How many of you, please let me know, how many of you have scored above 6? If it is above 6, then definitely it is a matter of concern. Okay. You can also raise your hands during the time of the presentation, so that I can answer the questions. So let me look at the scores. The scores are, okay, some of you, couple of you are above 6. Yes. So there it is a concern. So yes, it is a concern, and let's look at it, how it works. So those who have got above 6, can you understand this? This is the stress growth on the x-axis, and the physical mental activity which is supposed to be done, which is there on the y-axis. And in between, the middle is supposed to be called as the comfort zone. This is actually taken from for the year 2017. The best guidelines for the stress management from the Journal of Psychology and Behavioral Science, International Journal. So here, comfort zone, madam, too many contents, too many emotions, too many seminars, exhausting my all my health, bad health, exhaustion, I'm really very tired, fatigue, right? But the other side, you see a little bit of stress, what happens? Though you have frustration, though you're, boring, it's boring for you to do, though a little bit of dissatisfaction, you're resting out and all that stuff, but still you will be able to achieve. So there are things, without the stress, we cannot give a better productivity. All we need to understand is how we can manage the the stress. Okay, so can you see here 2 ropes which is being, shown how it is being tied? The rope which is tied in a very disciplined way, one after the other, can you see it's like a ripple formation. If that is the case, then when you're pulling it out, when you're taking it, it will come out very easily. But the rope, which is very, in a cluster format, which is not arranged, which is disorganized. So in that case, when you're pulling out the rope, it'll get stuck somewhere, and then you need to struggle for that. Then again, you need to come back, then, undo the entire thing and then get it done. So the very clearly this picture says that if we are disciplined every day, I know that it is very difficult to put it into practice, but if we are able to do, then life is going to be very smooth and the productivity level also goes to be very smooth. These days, I see a lot of advertisements coming asking for, do you want to be, publishing your books? Be the first author, second author, third author. First author, 10,000, second author, 8,000, third author. Why do you want to go? Why don't you find time to, go on to the self-publishing mode, self-publishing books? Why do you want to give money and then get it published? Because do you think it goes for API and you will be getting a promotion? Suppose if you're not getting a promotion, what will happen then? You are still having a job, you're still surviving. And this is not about, I'm talking about only the book publications. I'm talking about the journal publications, your article publications, anything that could, come walk through. If you're not going to do, what would happen? It's another way of thinking through. I don't know, but you just need to refuel if you're completely stressed out and try to find out. So here I've given you the 3 R's. Reducing the impact of stress, there are 3 R's. Refuel yourself. Just take a break completely, just go out. Whatever you want to do, what was your passion, what was your liking, do something and come back so that you're fully energized. Or just try to resolve if this report is not happening. Why this report is not happening? When would I submit it? Just try to take the help of the others and get it done. Otherwise, completely throw everything and relax yourself. There are 3 R's. Nothing is greater, to you rather than being highly stressed. Can you see this graph? Please see the graph. It is less than 5%. It's just only 2%. And can you see 36%, which means that there is a mean which I have taken 6.97. 67% of those, especially with the young kids, they say they don't get enough sleep because most of us are there with the gadgets, and either it is a laptop or with your mobiles. It is continuously, there is a calculation also how many times in a day that we look into the mobiles. Over half of, this is the hospital, this thing statistics which I have given. They feel that, they are not getting enough sleep. This is even very higher among those with the young kids. So why it is happening? How we can avoid it? So unless and until, see, there are certain apps which you can download for managing your time also. That also I will tell you what are the apps. One of the reasons which are getting people, where people are not getting enough sleep are having too much to think about, being very anxious or stressed, and going to bed too late. These are the things which could be the reasons. But still, how do you overcome? Say, for example, in the statistics, I have given, let me say which is the highest one. Yeah, 52% is the highest one. Having too much to think about. Yes, most of the time, whether we are doing a particular work or we are not doing, but the mind goes on thinking something or the other, something or the other. How do I, do it? How do I come out of this? Why this is happening to me? Why that is not, happening? We had fixed this and all of a sudden something else changed. Will it go properly? Even if you're, it's a positive stress, it is called. Suppose if you're getting married, fully, excited, anxiety will be there, whom to call, when to call. Of course, now you have a lot of outsourcing companies where you just give the entire job to the, third party and then get it done. But still, that is it's called as a positive stress, which is really existing. And these are the signs, the stress at work. Either you argue with people, yell at them, this is not happening. I have asked you for some report. Today we had a clash between, two of the employees. He had asked a report in a particular format and the other person had given it in a normal format. When it is told very clearly, please give it in a Word document, please give it in a Word document. Give it in a PDF. Please, let's read the instructions clearly. Yes, sir. This itself, will reduce the stress for everybody. When we are having that individual respect for other individuals, understand what is required out of us, And if it is an immediate requirement from our own, faculty members, from our own colleagues, let us understand, first of all, we need to have the basic individual respect and respect the others and give the report immediately. You know, what is being asked by the other person. The moment you give, next time you can see a difference. When you want something, the other person would give it back to you, right? So this is one of, the ways. So I have just given you the picture. Can you see? One is the argument. The other one is, of course, if the stress level is too much, there's going to be a turnover, labor turnover. Otherwise, people get the, body sickness, mental illness, and all that. Physically, employees would be affected. And this is another statistics up to 2016, which is there, which tells a 3.74. It's a percentage. It's only, can you see April to September is just 4 months. How much, the employees are having a very high stress. And either, these are all the breakages, more complaints and grievances, all this will happen. And this, I just wanted to share with you the dynamics of frustration. This is a formula. So technically, we need to understand rather than understanding it theoretically. I'm not here to give you, definition for stress or, definition for time. No, there are several factors. Let's understand that technically how it works. Even Sadhguru sir also, Sadhguru ji, whatever, sir also says that, it's an inner engineering, the stress to break out. So how will you manage that? It is engineering. It is a science. So all of these, can you just see here, F is equal to FL into B into O. So the frustration, how does it happen? F is the function. It's a function of all this. So there is a level, expectation to achieve this particular goal, and there is a balance. Balance money, that is the strength. And then you have the opportunity. How much of opportunities are lying in front of you? If it is going to be too low, there is no opportunity at all. In the beginning, when I started with seeking for research funds, I did not, it was completely, it was almost blindfolded for me. I didn't know where to ask, how to find, how to move. But now that is not the case. So I is the investment of the effort. How much time and effort that you can put for a particular task. And P is supposed to be the public knowledge where other guys tries to help you for your achievements. So all these put together, leads. If they're not going to help you, then it's just completely you're out. So that's the frustration. So you should understand this formula and ensure that this does not happen. Okay. So this is the way of understanding the stress response. Today, stress is very, very normal. You ask any of the the small ones, 3 years, 3 years will tell, my mom is not giving me the gadget, my mom is not giving me a good food, and my school is expecting a lot of things. Today I have C activity, I have this formative assessment, I have the summative response, I have to prepare a PPT, I have to prepare a project. It is not when during my days it was only for the level of college or probably now, but for today's generation it is now. Now they need to submit the projects. This is a simulation model that I have to prepare, Amma. What do I do? So it is the body's response. So stress is absolutely normal, and it is our body's response to help us prepare for the challenges. In today's world, we face many situations that can trigger our stress response. Very simple. In our normal Bengaluru, everybody, the whole world knows Bengaluru's traffic. Okay, waiting in the traffic, waiting in the signal, and here the cab drivers do not have the habit of applying brake. They keep on going. There is no break at all. So you should also keep on going. Now keep going, keep going, keep going. That's the way. It's the same procedure with the work also. Keep on going. Take it in a smooth way. Do not, get angry with anybody. Do not show your anger to anyone. And there is no need of getting anger because you're all the time working and enjoy the work as fun. Yes, it's going to happen, right? So we need to make sure if we turn off and recover, this is particularly important because as many more people work from home, working from home has become another very major stress during online sessions or this itself. Say for example, I don't know how many of you are listening with the just a mobile and just looking at it. No, if it's to what extent, that shows the seriousness of the amount of the thing that we are trying to give. We want knowledge, we want something, we want to listen, and we want some ideas, say fresh ideas, and that we want to implement it in our day-to-day practice, yes, then we take a little more effort to sit with something and then take it down, right? So it is work from home also doesn't have any gaps, and too much of stress can be harmful to, which leads out to the burnout. And in small doses, we are experiencing the stress, and workplace processes and systems, it can support the minimizing and managing, and it helps us to recover from stress. So this is the understanding of the burnout. I think I have done enough, because in May 2019, the World Health Organization talks about the occupational phenomenon, because they have defined the burnout. It's a loss of meaning of one's work coupled with the mental, emotional, physical exhaustion as a result of the long term unresolved stress. So later, there are many celebrities from Deepika Padukone to, a lot of guys who talks about the stress and how I need to, I went for the counseling sessions. I was completely depressed because it could be, related to the body shaming. You can see all the Korean, actresses or these BTS group, a lot of things where our children goes just like that behind. I also want to be very thin. So many things are happening, participants. So please understand, how do you, come out of all these things and pick it up, and don't tell it is an unresolved stress. It is a stress which can be resolved. It is there in our hands, because a burnout can affect the well-being and the quality of the life that we are living. Let's not get into that. When you're fixing something, please fix, and let's understand how we can take it, further. So let's understand whether our tank is empty or the tank is full. Here also, I have an activity. What does stress look like for me? If you can write down, then you can, have take it for the further discussion. What does stress look like for me? How do my thoughts, feelings, or behaviors change when I'm stressed and when I'm not at all coping? Do you have, the nervous twitches and the muscle spasms? Sometimes, you get that indigestion, your stomach is upset. Are you losing your zest for life? What kind of life is this? Arey yaar, I'm not getting the, proper sleep. Losing your interest in the family. Oh, some aunt is calling. Oh, my uncle is calling. You just don't even pick up the call, or you just get all these things. No, how do you, if your tank is empty, then what to do? You have to fill it, right? So I will just give you some short recipes for how to fill it up. Then another activity which you all can take it down is, we can understand our well-being in terms of the balance between different parts of our lives. Using finding the balance on the worksheets, we have an Excel sheet. Consider each area of what you're doing and keep it each on your walls very strong, by posting it on the fridge, by posting it on your, your cupboards, by any reminders which could, see. Because this is all, whatever I'm talking about, depends on your personality types. These personality types has been given by Holland, and Holland says that, say for example, the teachers, the third one, which is, with us, higher education, we are working with the higher education institutions. So we teachers, we social workers, counselors, and clinical psychologists, we are, the occupational groups. And our preferred mode is, like, we are helping and we are into developing the people. So our personality type, if you see, we are very social. But why are we still getting the, kind of the stress of, why are we are not able to manage the time? We are not very clear. There are the lawyers, the real estate agent, public relation officers, and they are the small entrepreneurs. These guys, they prefer, verbal, talking so much and impacting the people. They have to attract, they have to influence the people. Their personality should be very enterprising. But is it really so? So there are the stress and the time management is directly proportional to the personality types. Fuel in, what fuel you're putting inside, and what is that, fuels outside. Say, for example, I can take two examples due to the shortage of the time. But say, for example, fueling in, fill all your daily life with fun activities, achieving goals. Madam, I don't have time to take care of my garden. No, you will find time if you want to find time. So put everything, in a timetable or time login. I will give you the apps and the strategies, so that you can, think through how best I'm really utilizing my time, because we have 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of the, workplace, I still another 8 hours is there. 8 into 3, 24 hours. So that 8 hours, how do you manage? We will see. So we have a lot of fun activities to achieve our goals and interest, hobbies, involvement in the groups and the communities, and involving a lot of cultural activities. See how much, can you see here in this picture how people are working but still enjoying? To my left side, and the right side, can you see? Doing too much or doing too little. Whole day, I know I've seen people sitting with the laptop. Half of the work will be done. Remaining half work will not be done. Why? In between, they will be going to the WhatsApp messages. In between, they will go and browse something. In between, they will do other work activities where the brain is not working enough to focus on the particular work. Why do you want to sit like that? Just get up, take a short break, come and finish the work, and then go. So this will not affect your health, and this will also improve your productivity level. So don't sit too much at a one particular stretch of time. And then the thought processes that things of conflicts, things of worries, or things thinking going on, thinking of responsibilities, nothing is going to happen. So just don't worry. So how are you really noticing any changes? Having any conversations, which is really good. So think about the last week. What things happened to fill or drain your tank? Note down, please note down what is fueling me in and what is the fuel out. I have removed all my worries, madam. Yes. Now, because life is very short, you need to understand it's very, very short. The moment you turn back and see, nothing will be there. And then, I just had yesterday, I told you one of the candidate had come for interview. This guy was working for HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, and he was a retired general manager. He has come and applied for the guest lecture. So one of my other colleague was commenting, Madam, why he is coming at this age? What is the retirement age? Retirement age is 60. Why the retirement is given? Retirement is given for you to sit and focus on the other things, maybe co-curricular, extracurricular activities, which you weren't able to do during your career. All these 30, 40 years you have been doing it. Now you are just drained out completely. You're not able to do. So focus on that. Why do you again want to come back to work? And you're working for a government. You must be getting a good pension. Let provide the opportunity for the youngsters. The population is so huge. And if at all you're interested, no, I want to engage my time. Go for some NGOs, go for some orphanages, teach for them. Why don't you do that? Please list down whatever I'm telling. Please give a thought. It is a very, very serious thought. Okay, it is not for just fun for this presentation, because IoT Academy, for a long time association with them, has given me a great opportunity for me to share this presentation. And I just want to, fill it out with all the useful information as much as possible. So I just move on to the, the slide where the third exercise is all about. This is a very serious exercise. Here, as I already told you in the beginning of the session, it is a reverse scoring we have. So I want you to read each statement carefully and then answer the statement, whichever is favorable to you. So first of all, please take down the keys. Write 4 if it is mostly like you, and write 3 if it is only very fairly true to you, and write 2 if it is somewhat true, and write only 1 if it is not at all true to you, and write 0, no ma'am, it is not at all applicable to me. Okay, so I hope the keys are very clear. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. 4 is most and 0 is the least. It is not at all resembling me, madam. I seldom feel or behave this way, if you feel like. Okay, this is the key. Now, moving on, there are only 9 statements in this, okay, in this exercise. And this exercise was given by Dr. Uday Parikh, one of the pioneer in the field of training and development. And this is a psychometric test, which is very useful, and it has the validity and the reliability. There are many individuals who have taken this test, and after the test have found out that, madam, this was very useful for me. It has made me to think through where I need to improvise, where I need to, set a foot and try to allocate. Because this is, supposed to be identifying your own effectiveness. This exercise is all about the personal effectiveness. Let us measure your personal effectiveness because this is a scale. And after measuring the personal effectiveness, where are we standing? Let's understand that and let's move on to the next one. Okay. So the first one is I find it difficult to be frank with people unless I know them very well. Okay. I find it very difficult to be frank. Many of us are not, um, will not have time or maybe, will not even be interested to uh, be very frank with other people. I listen carefully with others' opinion about my behavior. Do you listen? Do you listen to others? Very few times we only hear, but we don't listen. Okay. And generally, I hesitate to express my feelings to others. Okay. Please read the statements carefully and try to answer for that. And on hindsight means on the other side, I regret if I said something tactlessly. By mistake, if I utter another word or if I would have uttered another word, I generally regret, madam. Do you feel yes or no? So this is not yes or no. I have given you the keys. Write four if it is mostly of your characteristics. Write three if it is somewhat true to me. Okay. So the statements are these. On the other side, if I regret if I said something tactlessly. And the fifth statement is, I deliberately observe how a person will take what am I going to tell him and communicate to him or her accordingly. I deliberate, I deliberately observe. Yes, I consciously observe how a person will take what am I going to tell him and communicate him or her accordingly. Generally, people will not receive us the way it has to be. Sometimes they take it very offended. So I can observe that. Can you observe? Is it most of the time you're this? So I hope the key is very clear. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Zero is it is not at all like me. Okay. So this is the fifth statement. And the sixth statement, there are only 9 statements in this. Statement number 6. If someone criticizes me, I hear him or her at that time, but I do not bother about myself about it later. Okay. I fail to pick up. The seventh one is I fail to pick up cues. Cues means it is somebody gives a weird expression. It is all your, that emojis, whatever you type and send. So sometimes when you're talking, somebody may not be listening at all, but you're failing to catch up that the other person is not listening to you. It's very important to look into others' eyes and others' expression and how they are receiving. That is more important. If you're not giving importance to them, then it is of no use. So I fail to pick up the cues about others' feeling and others' reactions when I'm involved in an argument or a conversation. I've seen that personally because in one of the FDP, one faculty was asked to give a link, provide a link. That's all. So he was not aware. He said, madam, I have to create this, as if it's a very big job, very big deed. I have to create that link and, okay, fine, how to do this? Should we go for Zoom? Should we go for Google? Nothing is required. Just go for a normal, Google, link because here interruptions will not be there. Zoom will give only for 45 minutes, basic common sense. And after that, just create a link and send it to everybody over. And you know what he did? He created, what do we say that? He created a separate Google password, Google login, Google ID. And then from that, he distributed all the Google ID and passwords to the other faculty members. And then he created a link. And then he was not there, was operating the link. And it was a whole mess. Okay, so try to pick up what cues others are feeling, what others are telling. That is more important. Okay, so anyway, I don't want to be biased. I just want to try to make you answer this. Whether if you're more, it is likely to you, then you answer 4. Sometimes, yes, madam, I am not able to pick it up. Then it is 3. Yeah, occasionally I do make a mistake, then it is 2. Okay. So the eighth statement is, I enjoy talking with others about my personal concerns. I talk as a stranger wherever I sit. I talk, enjoy talking with others about my personal experiences, my personal concerns. But here it is personal concerns. Accordingly, please do answer. If it is more likely to you, then you answer 4. If it is less, it is 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay. Completely no, madam. I never open up. I don't talk about my personal things at all. Okay. So I value what people have to say about my style of communications and behavior. Yes, I value how I present myself. Am I well groomed? I think before talking, right? So I value. Do you value? How much you value? If you value the most, then it is 4. Otherwise, it is 0. Okay. Now let's look into the scoring. Participants, please understand, as I already told you, there is a reverse scoring. Beside whatever you have answered, the item number 1, 3, 4, 6, and 7. Can you see here item number 1, 3, 4, 6, and 7? For that, whatever you have given 0, it becomes 4. If you have given 4, then it becomes 0. If you have given 1, then it becomes 3. If you have given 3, then it becomes 1. So these 5 items out of 9 items, 5 items, 1, 3, 4, 6, and 7 has a reverse scoring. Please make the reverse scoring. And if it is 2, then it remains unchanged. Okay. Now you will calculate your personal effectiveness. Calculate the 3 aspects of your personal effectiveness by adding the scores on the 3 items each. So the 3 items, I will tell you how it is. Here is the 3 items. So you have to add item number 1, 3, and 8. And you have to add item number 2, 6, and 9. And for perceptiveness, item number 4, 5, and 7. Any doubts you can, break me through. You can just ask me. 1 plus 3 plus 7. Item numbers 3, 1, 3, and 8. The total of that. Item number 2, 6, and 9, the total of that. Item number 4, 5, and 7, the total of that. Okay? You have got a scoring. How it happens? The scoring happens. The reverse items you would have done, then you would have put, and then. So the score ranges from 0 to 12. Let me, check. Let me, minimize, because this is the Google Meet. I have to minimize and then come to the chat box and see. So who has got above 6 and who has got less than 6? Okay. So let me just have a look, because that will take us to further discussion on how to manage the time and the stress. Okay. So participants, yes. Yeah. So the scores are, some of you are taking time. Okay. So please put your scores. So let's understand what is the score between 0 to 12. So if it is 6 and above 6, then it is definitely we need to, reflect on, consider what do you do to increase the interpersonal effectiveness. If it is little less, then it is different. Okay. So this is a reverse scoring that we had seen. And this reverse scoring is having validity and reliability. And it is very good for us to, not to give a biased response. Okay. And these are the 3 major, variables, or probably the concepts that we'll be seeing here. Say, for example, the self-disclosure. The self-disclosure, in my case, I have got 7. 7 means, which means that I am, talkative. I, talk about my own self. I tell, please don't touch my mobile. I'm not liking it. So anything that I want to express, a little bit extrovert. I express myself. So there won't be any problem, with that. And the use of feedback is, which is given by the others. So here, in my case, somebody says, ma'am, you're too fast. Please go slow. Ma'am, this, I want you to explain for the second time. Okay, so whatever it is, the use of the feedback, I listen to them. Okay, yes, here my feedback is very high, 10, because I always keep, I'm very particular about my feedback. So I keep asking for, please tell me how, was it? Was it good? Was it bad? Should I improve, or what is it? So use of the feedback is 10 here. Whereas if you see my perceptiveness, it is exactly 6. So above 6, as I told you, it is a matter of concern. Below 6, you don't have to worry about it because it's your personal effectiveness is very good. But when my scoring for the perceptiveness, if you see, it is just 6, which means that I need to little bit bring it down. Perceptiveness is nothing but it is the cues, 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 which is, when other people are talking, sometimes I don't listen. Sometimes I don't observe what they are trying to say. Okay, so that I need to work on that. So how do you work? Stop your talking and listen to others. And if you're not understanding, ask them the questions. Most of the time, we fail to ask the question, and that is why we don't get the clarity, and that's why the stress will be very high, and that is why we will not be able to manage our time. I hope you're agreeing to this. So, coming to the last portion of the time and the stress management, here I've given the techniques to implement time and stress management. First one, the Pareto analysis. I think most of you have been knowing it. Pareto analysis is 80-20 rule. Okay, whether you're seasoned vet means whether you're a doctor for the animals, dog pets, or just launching your first business, I'm sure you would have at least heard of the 80-20, rule. It is otherwise called as a Pareto principle. Because how this principle works, let's see. Okay, because this principle is basically a concept which was developed by an Italian economist, Wilfredo Pareto, way back in 1895. Okay, after he noticed that 80% of the land was owned by just 20% of the population. Okay, and this led Pareto to the conclusion that the economic activity could be just, a subject to the principle. Also, there is a famous personality, Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy, you would have heard. Okay, this person, he says that this rule says that 20% of your activities accounts for 80% of your results. Okay, so 20% of your activities, how I need to do, when I need to do, why I need to do, all these things, it happens, focuses on your 80% of your result. So the first one is a Pareto analysis. Let's give a focus for that. And let's understand how, as teachers, as working for higher education institutions, how we need to put this principle, okay? And how it will enhance our skills we need to think through. Are the things that you're doing, it's giving, more important or more productive that we need to think through. And this principle was found throughout many differences, different areas of our life. It applies to the time management. Okay, so if we are able to manage 80% of our time, then I think we will get 80% of the results very clearly. Okay, so that is one. I will just have a reading of this example. Say for example, for me, I'm a morning person who wakes up at 5:15 a.m. Okay, knowing this, I schedule all my priorities during my prime time and not when I'm running out of stream in the afternoon. So it's a proven way to get as much as done possible on a daily basis. There are people, some of the teachers I've seen, they take the books, they take the laptops to home to do, and it will not happen, right? So you have to see when you're actually working, and that point of time, you just have to finish it. So that is the time slot that you need to, identify. Okay, and there are 20 jobs. In the 20 jobs, I cannot do all the 20, so ditch, straw the 10 jobs which you cannot literally do. These are literally the 10 jobs that you cannot make it, and they are all small menial tasks. Okay, so just throw them. Okay, if you cannot do, throw them. And or probably what you can do is you can hire a virtual assistant, personal assistant. We have the virtual assistants right now. A lot of apps are there, so they will remind you. Remind, for example, this time you have to do take your tablets. This time you have to finish your research funding assignment. This time you have to search for consultancy job. Yes, consultancy work I'm talking about. Okay, so that is the another best way. And Pomodoro technique is the second one. Pomodoro technique, can you see here? I'm just showing you the picture. This is the virtuous productivity. You do something, you take a break. There is an interval. Can you see all the yellow lines? Those are the breaks. Without the break, continuously, if you do from beginning to end, you will be completely stressed out. So take a break at every intervals. and then do it. This is called as a Pomodoro, principle. The history of Pomodoro technique, I will tell you. It is actually, it means tomato. Pomodoro means tomato in Italian. This is, however, I am intending to tell you the history because it's a trademark by Francisco Cirillo. He came out with this technique in the 80s just to break down the work into different levels using a timer. Because of the laptop, the power would have increased, right? So every task which we are doing, it needs a break of 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, you have to get up, do something, and come back and then start it. The third one is supposed to be called as ancient shower matrix. Ancient shower matrix, I will show you. This is the matrix. This we have already discussed in the first part. Urgent, not urgent. Important, not important. We have 4 quadrants. If it is more urgent and more important, do it immediately, right now. Okay? Urgent and important tasks that need to be done just right away. Okay? A crisis in the office. Somebody called me. I was a person for a particular session, and I got a call telling that, ma'am, we are going to cancel because one of the student, passed away in a major accident. It's an emergency. So do it right away. Yes. So he has to go. He needs to find out. He needs to, help the students' family, go talk to them, right? So that's, important and urgent. We do know. Not urgent, important. Okay. So there you decide where to do and how to do. Okay. Say, for example, going to the gym. It's very important because you need to maintain your, physical status. Yes. It's very, very important, but it is not urgent. So you have to plan it when you can have, right? And it's very urgent, but it is not important. Like I think I have given you an example also about a candidate's interview. Yes. So it was very urgent. Boss gave me, I need to do, but it is not important for me or for, okay. So not urgent and not important, just delete it from your mind. Half of the time, this happens, it will be, very nice. The fourth one, the strategy or the technique is called as a Parkinson's law. Okay. What is Parkinson's law? Okay. Here, the law is actually the old age, where we try to say that work expands to fill all the time allotted to its completion. The term was first coined by Cyril Northcott Parkinson, and in a very humorous essay, I should say, he says that he wrote it for The Economist, in the year 1955. The Parkinson's law is the adage that work expands so as to fill in the time available for its completion. So you expand your work. How much you can expand, that much alone you try to do it. Okay. And the next one is supposed to be called as a time blocking method. In the time blocking method, you block a particular time, and at that particular point of time alone, you will be doing it. So that's called as a time blocking method. I have the diagram and I can explain it to you very clearly where there are 3 sessions. You're parking, you're just making a mark and you're parking your tasks there. The first 2 tasks I will be doing from 9 to 10. The later, fourth an activity I'll be doing at 11 onwards. And then I have an exam duty. I'm not doing anything. And here I'm doing, here I'm not doing, here I'm doing. That's the time blocking. Where all you get the time, and that particular point of time, you need to do the work. You're blocking the method. And I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The sixth method is getting things done method, GTD method. Getting things done method is again a very simple method. It's a very old method, I should say also, where when we have very long meetings, cancel the long meetings, make it short meetings. Getting the things done, you want to do it right now, please do it right now. And you also need to, understand there is an overview. How? Say, for example, getting the things done, first you capture. There are various steps. First you capture everything, capture anything that crosses your mind. And then you clarify whether it is really, it has to be done, then it can be done and all that. And then you organize one after the other. Okay, let me, just try to, organize these things. And then review it. Just think, what will be the, benefit out of, how much time it will take and how best you can do it and all that. And then you start engaging. So this is supposed to be called as getting the things done method, GTD method. Okay. And rapid planning method is also something similar to that. It's a, step by step, it is, I think I remember a motivational speaker, Tommy Robbins. Tony Robbins said that actually he designed the rapid planning method. This is basically he designed to inspire the massive action. Okay. This time management technique allows one to hold the things that makes a difference in your life. Okay. So to utilize this method best, best way, what do you say this? What do I really want? I want to achieve this. I want to finish this. I have to complete the task. What do I really want? You ask yourself. And then what's my purpose? My purpose is to, that's what I said, publications. Without the publications also, you can survive. There is no need to be in a hurry. There is no need to, spend money, get, cheated by others. A lot of complaints are coming these days. People are doing this as a very big business. So what's my purpose? My purpose is to the survival. What is the target given by the management? And am I able to achieve the target? That's all. That should be your purpose. And what do I need to do for achieving the purpose? That's all. So by asking these three simple questions, you will create a clear plan of action for the task that you will need to do to use your time effectively and to accomplish your goals. And the last method and the most interesting method is the pickle jar theory, which is a very old theory. In our good old granny old days, we would have, prepared and we would have learned. I hardly, know how many of you or how many of us, including me, we prepare the pickles. So the pickle jar theory is based on the time management technique that prioritizes the tasks and the responsibilities in a specific order. This theory is also referred to as the bucket of rocks theory or the jar of life theory, which was developed in the year 2002 by Jeremy Wright with the notion that time is the finite space that has limits. Of course, I think I have taken a lot of time. So reward yourself when you're done. Okay. Say, for example, if you have done a particular job, reward yourself. And sometimes we have to say no to, basics. This job for me, otherwise things were not going to work. Okay. So the pickle jar theory says that first learn to put the rocks inside, then put the medium-sized stones, and then finally the sand, and then shake. So everything will fit in. So we have so many things. As I already told you, I shared with you the different roles played by the teachers, the faculty members of the higher education institutions, with the introduction of the National Education Policy 2020, which is giving us a lot of pressure to do and expand our activities, and it is multifold. The expectations which is being created by the Ministry of Education. A lot of things are happening. So let's understand how much we can expand and how best we can do. If it is all not possible, then we start doing our relaxation exercises and get some morning, sunlight. All this I can talk. I can go on. Take deep breathing and guided breathing, progressive muscle relaxations. No, which will work for you. Doing the dishes. If you're interested, do that. If you're interested in cooking, do the cooking. If you're, turning off the screen, TVs, for some time, that's going to be a great relaxation. So it's up to you what the best method that you would. And, finally, I would like to say that time management is nothing. It is very, very, a simple thing. So set your goals correctly, prioritize wisely, set a time limit, take the break between the tasks and organize yourself. Remove all the non-essential tasks. Okay. The moment you remove, in a day, 3 times I'll be touching the mobile during this time. I'm not touching. I've got 5 calls. I've not touched. So there should be some kind of discipline. I will attend it later. Nothing is urgent. This session is more important for me, right? So plan ahead and do your job effectively. The time management and the stress management will take care of itself. And all the best. And I wish you a very happy new year to all the participants who are present here. Thank you, ma'am. And once again, I thank the IoT Academy for providing me an opportunity to present my ideas and views very boldly in this particular session. Thank you. Thank you so much.